All right, everybody, welcome back. Episode 33, Sports with Skiz. Happy holidays to everyone who celebrates. I hope that you guys stuff your faces. Knock, we got you in a different location out there. You're traveling right now. How we doing, brother?
Yeah, man. The traveling is good. We're safe. We are in Chicago, a place I promise I will never ever come back to. The Windy City is real. Today, gusts of 44-mile-per-hour winds almost put me on my ass. Not a joke at all. So I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
That's wild. We got to go back there in the summertime when it's a little bit more beautiful and not as cold. But all right, I don't want to keep you for too long, guys. We're going to condense this a little bit. It'll probably be a little bit of a quicker show. It will be our only episode this week, just with the holidays and everything. We had some delays in scheduling, both on my part for the most part. So jumping into it, knock. We could talk about it. There's a big game on tomorrow, actually, Thanksgiving. Navy taking on Memphis. It's not as, I guess, amplified as it would have been if Memphis would have kept on their roll. But Navy 8-2, they're 6-1 in the American. They got a chance to go to the title game, and maybe a small chance to get into the playoff. I feel like the committee is favoring the American teams, but I don't know. JMU made a leap, but with this game, it's Memphis minus 15 and a half. Over under is 58 and a half. This game is being played at Memphis. It's the only college game on Thanksgiving. I'm just going to go at this quick. I like Navy being the underdog in this. It's kind of crazy. I'm looking at the ESPN analytics, and Memphis got an 80.9% chance to win this game. But with it being on a holiday, I'm going to go ahead and support the troops. I'm sorry, the spread right now is plus 3.5. Navy's plus 3.5. I like them
Okay.
plus on the spread, and I do like them money line. I think this game is something that would be the over if I'm betting over unders here.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. And you know what? With my brother graduating from Navy basic training, you would think that I would be all over the Navy train. I can't do it though. Memphis has lost two games in a row. This is extremely vital to their season. Navy's great. They're awesome. You just kind of love what they represent and how they do it. They're a triple option team, but they do throw the football a little bit. You know what? If Memphis gets up early, that's going to still pose a threat for the Navy midshipmen. And I just got to ride out with Memphis here at home
I like it.
to
I
cover.
like it. I like it. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm really swaying away is I was leaning on Memphis whenever they played Tulane. They came and kind of laid an egg in that game, tried to come back late and still lost. But shout out to our boy Jack for graduating from the Navy. That's awesome. So if you guys know who Jack is, you listen to our show, make sure you reach out to him and congratulate him. That's awesome that he was able to do that. Let's move over to the Friday games. Big matchup down in Mississippi. We got Ole Miss traveling to Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl for this one. Right now, it is Ole Miss minus 7.5. Over under is 62.5. Knock, do you want to lead us off with this one? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think absolutely, man. 7.5 for me is a little low, and it's actually a little bit. I kind of question that line. I think Ole Miss has solidified themselves as really a top team in not just the SEC but the country as well. Mississippi State has had some moments this year for sure. And I stated a few weeks ago that they are better now than they used to be. But with that being said, I can't give Mississippi State 7.5. Could be trappy because I know they're home. I'm gonna ride with Trinidad Chambliss in the offense here, man. I will say this though about about Ole Miss. With Lane Kiffin and the talks of LSU, I don't know how seriously this team is gonna take it from this point on. Even though they are in contention for the college football playoff, I'm one of those guys that feels like that is just too much of a distraction to finish your season that hasn't even ended yet. And this Ole Miss team, while I don't think anybody had them winning the Natty or has them winning the Natty now, I think they're a very, very tough team, and they're going to pose an extreme threat in the playoffs. So, I'm not really crazy about the distractions overall, what they have going there and with Lane Kiffin, but I'm still going to ride Ole Miss. I think that he is the type of dude who's going to want to see this out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trinidad Chambliss has just been an absolute stud. He's completing 65% of his passes, 2,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, three interceptions, and he's added 444 yards rushing with 6 touchdowns too. So he's a guy to be reckoned with. Just going over a few scores from the past meetings here. Ole Miss 26-14, Ole Miss 17-7, Mississippi State 24-22, Ole Miss 21-20, 31-21, excuse me. So I do think that this is going to be a little bit of a brawl in this game. I do like the under 62 and a half is a lot of points. I do like Ole Miss as well too with the 7.5, but just all the hype around Lane Kiffin. Is he going to LSU? Is he going to Florida? We're hearing signs that LSU is throwing a crazy number out there at him, and then we heard before, and I think it kind of got washed away. But they were seeing they wanted him to make his decision before the Egg Bowl. I really hope he stays at Ole Miss. If anything, go to LSU, but I hope he could cap this off on a high note for Ole Miss. It does kind of suck for their fans to have this great of a season, but then have to put up with everybody, talking about where their coach is going to be next season. So, yeah, give me Ole Miss. We're on the same page with that one. Another game here that is going to be pretty big, I guess, in terms of what it's looking like for the playoffs. We talked about this team a lot. We don't got to spend too much time on them, but Utah is heading to Kansas. It is right now the line is Utah minus 10.5, over under 59.5. This game has also big implications because if Utah wins and BYU loses, I'm not sure how that goes. I think BYU does have the tiebreaker against them, but there's still a small chance that they could sneak into the Big 12 playoff and maybe get into the actual playoff. But we'll see. I do think Kansas has had a really down year, but I don't know. I like Utah minus 10.5. They got out to a very slow start last week against Kansas State, but they rallied. It's kind of crazy that they were able to come back. I think there was 6 or 7 runs Kansas State had that were over 40 yards, a couple of them being for like 60 and 80-yard touchdowns. But Utah has a lot of fight. I think their defense is going to show up. Kansas has just been super lackluster this year. So give me the Utes minus 10.5. And I do like the under in this game, 59.5 as well, too.
As far as Utah goes, man, they've been stellar. Eric Dampier has been awesome. I mean, Bert Ficklin, they bring him off the bench, and they just have a dual threat offense. They can run the ball, throw the ball. I mean, this is a pretty lethal team. It's something about Utah football. It's just like it's nice. You know what I mean? It's not like an overhyped program, but they are a good program at the same time. This is a weird game, man, because Kansas, like you said, hasn't been good. They're what, 5-6.
Yep.
They've their quarterback 2 years ago was up for the Heisman, and he got hurt last year, and he's been kind of battling some injuries. I mean, I want to take Kansas to cover the spread, but I just don't think Kansas has the offensive weapons. And I mean, they're serious, man. They play hard. They're a disciplined team. They're well defensively coached, so. I'm going to rock out with you on the minus 10.5. I hate 10.5 because
Mm-hmm.
watch the game end just at 10. Kansas keeps it close for a little bit, but we're gonna ride with Utah here. I think if anything, I'll take the over as well. And the only reason being is if Kansas finds a way to win or even keep it close, they're gonna have to score some points.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That's why I was kind of iffy on these ones. I really don't like betting unders, but I gotta throw some out there. I feel like with
It's a little high. It
rivalry,
is a little high.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But you're right. If Kansas is going to win, they're going to have to score because their defense isn't all that good, and their offense can be explosive. We've seen them put up points this year, even in losses as well too. So I like that. One quick game that I want to talk about. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this one either, but Iowa and Nebraska this weekend. So Nebraska, obviously, without Dylan Raiola as he's out for the season. Right now, it's Iowa minus 5.5, over under 39.5. That's so ugly. That's like an NFL type over under. I do like Iowa minus 5.5 in this game. And ending their season on a high note, getting to a bowl, seeing what could happen, maybe finish with 9 wins. Another thing that I wanted to see, Knock, I don't know if you've really been on your phone or anything like that, but there's rumblings coming out of Lincoln, Nebraska, that there might be a potential that Dylan Raiola transfers after this season. So a little food for thought there. I don't know how that's going to look, especially with Matt Rule signing that extension. We know he's staying put unless for some reason he leaves, even though he signed the extension. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, again, man, this another weird game. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. The backup quarterback for Nebraska has actually been playing pretty well for them, if I'm not mistaken. As
Mhm.
far as this Dylan Raiola news goes, I saw somebody post on Twitter like Dylan Raiola has a chance to do something special, and it was a picture of Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. So, um, that would be super weird if that were the case there. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to rock out with Iowa. I think what do you say? Six was the spread, 6.5.
Five and a half.
Just the running game has gotten going. 5.5. I like that even more, honestly. Um, I'm sure Nebraska could probably do something here and maybe shock them because Iowa's not great. But again, I'm going to have to rely on the ground game and the defense of the Hawkeyes and just kind of hope that Mark Gronowski throws for over, 85 to 115 yards passing. And, as long as, he's not one of those guys that's going to throw for 303 scores. But, if he can manage the game and pick up the first downs when needed, I mean, I really do like Iowa in this one. They have completely flipped the switch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be an interesting game. I'm really really excited for this. So with that being said, we're going to move on to another pretty big rivalry here. We got Georgia Bulldogs hosting Georgia Tech. Right now the line is Georgia
Mm.
minus 13 and a half. Over under is 59 and a half. I'll start with this one real quick. My Panthers went down to Georgia Tech last week, Saturday, and got a huge win to keep their ACC championship hopes alive and essentially end Georgia Tech's. And one of the thing that I was talking with my brother-in-law and some of those guys whenever we were out in the Philly, Jersey area this past weekend, and I said if Pitt's going to win, they're going to have to put the ball in Hayes King's hand and not have him necessarily run, but I meant passing. And we showed that that's what you got to do to beat Georgia Tech. I mean, Hayes King last week, 27 to 41, 257 yards, two interceptions, though, 100-yard pick six, which was huge. The run game for them, which is their bread and butter,
Mhm.
they only put up 121 yards rushing. So if Georgia could limit that and put the ball in Hayes King's hands, even though he was a one-man army last year against them, I think that's where they're going to have the greatest chance to not only win but blow them out because Hayes King, to be honest with you, he's not a great passer. He missed a lot of passes last week from what I saw. So I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs minus 13 and a half. They have just a ton to play for with, getting a bye and propelling themselves into the playoffs. So give me the Bulldogs in this game minus 13 and a half.
I didn't get to properly congratulate you for that victory against Georgia Tech either last week, Mike. I saw that game from pretty much start to finish. I mean, 28-0 to kick the game off. I mean, Mason Heinzel was unbelievable in that first half. He was just completing every throw. I mean, down the seams, and your running back just went absolutely ballistic. Georgia Tech did try. I mean, they cut it to 14. We're at the goal line, had a chance to score, and Haynes King throws that 100-yard pick six to completely disrupt the momentum that they had going on. So that was a major win for Pitt. Now Georgia Tech is in the situation of this is a must-win game almost for them because even though it's not a conference game, this is a game that they need under their schedule. I'm gonna ride with you, Mike. I think you guys took the air out of Georgia Tech, and they did play Georgia extremely well last year. Listen, they played Carson Beck last year. They didn't play Gunnar Stockton last year. I don't know if his defense is going to be able to deal with the running game that Georgia poses, and not to mention this guy Gunnar Stockton is very capable of multiple hundred yards passing. So I'm going to take Georgia to cover the 13.5. Georgia Tech had a hell of a season, but it's about time they wrapped it up.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing too that I want to mention with Georgia Tech, their last three games, their defense has really fallen off. They gave up 42 points to Pitt. Obviously, there was a pick six. Hayes' other pick put Pitt in prime positions to score. But before that, in the win at Boston College, they gave up 34 points. And then in the loss to NC State, they gave up 48 points. So Georgia's offense is just really good. I think that they will be able to dominate that game. Another game that I want to touch on real quick. Temple is traveling down to North Texas. North Texas right now, I do believe it's minus 20 and a half. Over under is 65.5. I really like the under or the over in this game. North Texas just scores, but the one thing that I want to let it be known is it sucks for North Texas because Eric Morris has already said that he's going to be taking that Oklahoma State coaching job, so he will be moving on after the season. But this is huge for North Texas. They're sitting at 10-1. They're 6-1 in the American. There is a small chance that they could get into the playoffs, so they need this game.
I'm just so disappointed, Mike. It's not just Eric Morris, it's not just Lane Kiffin, it's also Jim Mora as well with UConn. I mean, I'm sorry, you just can't tamper with coaching until the season is completely over for these guys. And Eric Morris is, I'm sorry, like I get it. The goal in this world is to always try to grow, achieve, be better. You do what you do because you love it and you want to improve and go to the next level, brother. North Texas will never be good at football like this again, ever. And for you to just abandon those kids mid-season, I don't care. I'm not in the locker room, but I have a serious problem with this, Mike. I have a real problem with this, and not just that. Drew Mestemaker's talking about transferring right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the audacity. I mean, the absolute nerve. And again, Maker, you've been in college 6, 7 years. You've been a long time, without me exaggerating. But it's just like, no, you can't make those decisions until the end of the season. It's just that simple. I feel bad for North Texas. I feel bad for some of those kids. And, some of them will probably transfer with the coach and they'll go on over to Oklahoma State and things of that nature. But they really built something here this year. Had a great season, and I'm just so disappointed. I'm going to root against North Texas here.
Okay, all right, I like it. Yeah. Speaking of Mora as well, too, moving on from UConn, I really don't understand that move too much. I think it's more of like a lateral or a step down. I have seen, and I gotta look into it more just because Colorado State, like I don't know, I know about them and their history, but I'm hearing that they got a lot of NIL money coming in and new facilities, so I got to check that. But he just took UConn to back-to-back 9 wins. If they don't play this weekend, but if they win their bowl game, that's 10 wins the first time in probably 10 years, maybe more than that. So I don't know. That was weird to see. But anyways, we suffice. We move on. Last game from Friday that I want to talk about is Texas A&M going on the road to Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns. Right now, it's the Aggies -2.5, over under 52.5. Knock, I'll let you kick this one off if you would like.
It's just too easy to take Texas A&M, Mike. They're undefeated and haven't lost yet. We've all counted Arch Manning out. See so many tweets on the internet about what your name can do for you if you're the certain guy. Listen, you know, I'll say my piece about this. You and I have spoken on Arch Manning one too many times this year. It started off slow. We weren't happy, but he has absolutely picked up the pace and he has progressed as we want him to. You know what I mean? And is Texas home?
Texas is home. Yep.
Texas is home?
Texas is home.
Texas money line. Texas
Okay,
money
I
line. They
like
get
it.
their upset win of the year. Yeah,
They're
the
plus
line is too
plus.
close. The line is too.
Yeah,
It's too
very
close.
close. Yeah, Texas is plus 110 on the money line. I am
Yeah.
gonna rock out with the Aggies. They've just, they've battled. They got down big in games. They've came back. I understand that this Texas defense is, different than what they've seen. They've had the easiest SEC schedule that I've ever seen in my life with the teams that they've played. This is going to be one of their best games. I think they're going to wake up for this rivalry, but to my Texas fans out there, if you see this, I can see you guys winning it, and I wouldn't be shocked. Mostly because this game has no implications on A&M. If they lose, they're still in the playoffs. If they lose, they might even still be in the SEC championship. I'm not 100% sure. The only thing that scares me if Texas wins, I could see the committee putting them into the playoff. And frankly, I'm sorry, Texas fans. I don't have any like vendettas against you. I don't want to see you guys in the playoffs. I don't think you guys deserve it, to be honest. That loss to Florida was horrendous. If you beat them and it's a whole different ball game, I could see it. But a 3-loss team, I don't really think should be in the playoffs. So we'll see how this one goes. Moving on to
Agreed.
Saturday.
Agreed. And like,
Okay,
no,
go
no,
ahead,
no,
Knock.
no. You're straight. We'll move to Saturday.
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh
Go ahead.
yeah, I
It's a
was just.
little delayed.
Oh yeah, I was really just gonna say, like, yeah, yeah, they did beat Oklahoma, and if they beat Texas A&M, that would be nice. But I agree with you 100%. I just don't think that they deserve it. They beat an injured Oklahoma team with, a quarterback who's just fresh off hand surgery. I mean, I'm with you there 100%. I do not believe that they should make it, even if they do somehow, some way beat Texas A&M this weekend.
I'm glad. I'm glad we're on the same page there. I feel like a lot of people besides Texas fans are. Again, no shade, Texas. You guys are a hell of a program, but hopefully next year you guys take a bigger leap than what we saw this year, especially coming off the season that you had last year with almost making it to the national championship. But we're going to move to Saturday, the game, big one right here. We got Ohio State heading to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Right now it is Ohio State minus 9.5, over under 43 and a half. This game is so weird. I feel like just because of the last 4 years, I feel like I have to take Michigan plus 9.5. I would feel a lot better if it was plus 10.5, but Ohio State, man, I think they're going to be getting their two wide receivers back with Tate and Smith. I feel like that was kind of just more of like a rest game last week. I don't think that they were really having any nagging injuries. One thing that I do like, I'm going to be leaning Ohio State in this game. I feel like Ryan Day needs to finally get over the hump to escape. I know he won a national championship, but he did it in a year that he didn't beat Michigan, which is I feel like makes Ohio State fans want to throw up a little bit. Be happy you won the Natty, but this is your biggest rival. Michigan was able to hold that over your head. When Michigan won their national championship, they beat you guys. They did it the way that they wanted to. But I do like Ohio State minus 9.5, and I really like the over of 43.5 in this game.
But Bryce Underwood's going to have to get going. This is easily the toughest matchup of his life. He has never played a team of this caliber ever before. He's shown flashes this season. Michigan, more so a running team, running style team. They've had a great year on the ground. And kind of the same situation. Um, oh, I can't even think about who we were talking about a few minutes ago, but Michigan can't really come from behind. You know what I mean? They're not really built that way. Ohio State is just so well rounded. Um, two young quarterbacks insane and Underwood, but I just got to take the Buckeyes here. We're talking about a team that has potentially five of the 10 best players in all of college football this year. So, I'd love to see Michigan upset them, especially after the shit Ohio State pulled last year with the flag and stuff like that. Like, they're so soft. I
Mhm.
hate them. But I hate Michigan even more. I don't know who I hate more. I guess I'm gonna root Michigan. I'm gonna root for Michigan to win this game, but I think Michigan can cover 9.5. Actually, I'm gonna be ball.
Yeah.
I'm dropping my nuts. I'm dropping my nuts with that one.
Okay, I like it. I will say they are getting they're expected to have Jordan Marshall back. He's been out battling an injury. So that's big for them. And I think if they do win this game, the under is gonna have to hit because their defense is gonna have to show up and their offense is gonna have to control the ground game and control the time of possession. So it's definitely gonna be an interesting game. I'm really excited for this. I'm a little bit upset this next game that we're gonna talk about is at the same time of it. So I'll be turning my head, seeing what I'm doing, having the double screens up. But I'm talking about Miami heading to Pittsburgh, the hometown, the home state of Pennsylvania here. Right now, it is Miami minus 6.5 at minus 120 odds, which is pretty crazy to me there that a lot of people are leaning that way. But over under 49.5, knock. We'll let you kick this one off.
Very weird game in my opinion. Pitt's coming off such a major win. I mean, you guys need this win to make it to the ACC championship game, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or are
They
you? Are
need
you?
to win this. They need to win this, and they need either SMU or Virginia to lose.
Okay. Okay, understood. So I mean, there's still some implications and some stipulations going on there. Yeah, I don't know. This is tough for me because Miami, while they struggled there for a couple of weeks, I think they've picked up their stride. I think they're figuring it out again. I mean, if they can get Mark Fletcher going on the ground, I mean, Pitt's got a really good pass rush. I think Pitt can get to Carson Beck. I think if Fletcher can get going on the ground, it might pose a threat for Pitt. But there's something about that line. It's a complete toss up. It is an
Mhm.
absolute toss up, and I'm gonna have to take the home team because I think you have the better quarterback. So Kenny Johnson better come to play, and That defense better come to play like they did last week because you're not going to go up 28-0 again. This is going to be a dogfight of a
Yeah.
ball game. I'm going to take the team at home in cold weather conditions. Absolutely, I'm taking Pitt on the money line.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to be cold. It looks like it's going to be in the 30s. I think Boozy Turner is going to have another big game as well too. The offensive line played very, very well. They gave up a couple of sacks, but not nothing to extremely worry about. I will say Miami's defense is really good, especially their front four. So they're going to have to control that line of scrimmage, get Boozy Turner going, and Mason's going to have to show up in a big way. And that Pitt defense is going to have to cause some havoc for Carson Beck. We've seen that if you get after him, he's going to make bad decisions. So if they could do that and they could limit Tony and Fletcher, their playmakers, Pitt's I think, gonna have a good time here. I'm against picking either against or for Pitt. You know how that is with my superstitions. I do like the over 49 and a half. Both of these teams can score as well, but their defenses can show up, and you never know. It could be the under. But I really like this. And fun fact, do you know what happened the last time the Miami Hurricanes played a Pitt true freshman on the road?
I'm trying to
Who's
think.
thinking?
I'm trying to think. Was it Kenny Pickett? Was it Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett's first start against the number 2 Miami Hurricanes, undefeated, and Pitt upset them on Black Friday to knock them out of the 14 playoff. So I'm hoping it's another. I'm hoping it's another one of those games as well
History
too. So
repeats
shout out
itself.
Kenny. History does repeat itself. So moving on to some other games, I know you're crunched on time, knock, and Saturday. There's some decent games and stuff, but we'll move down the line here. We'll go to these 3:30 games. I really wanted to talk about Vandy. They're traveling to Knoxville, Tennessee, taking on their in-state rival, the Tennessee Volunteers. Right now, it is Tennessee minus 3.5. Over under is 65.5. I'm just going to be quick with this one. I like the way that Vandy is playing. Uh, Pavia is playing stellar as well too. He's just looked like a guy who can do it all for them. So I do like the Vandy. I like Vandy plus 3.5. Sorry about that, guys. I just had a fucking I don't even know what the hell just went on in my brain, but I like Vandy plus 3.5. Tennessee's defense is a bit shaky. I could see the over hitting in this game as well too, just because of how explosive Joey Aguilar and the Tennessee offense is as well too.
Yeah. Man, it's so crazy for me because like I switch up quicker than square dancers do. When people don't really know about a guy and I like him, it's cool. I like him a lot. And then everybody starts to catch the wave and it's just like, I'm not really for it. Diego Pavia is nice. There's no question about it. I said this a few weeks ago when they who did they lose to? Did they lose to Texas a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, they lost to Texas
Think
by
about 2 weeks
3.
ago they lost to Texas. Yeah, when they lost and Texas was up all game. That's right. Vandy tried coming back, and it's the same thing for me, man. I just don't think Vanderbilt has the weapons. And one man, it just can't be a one man show. I can't take Vandy. I just can't do it. Let me ride with Tennessee, man. Their pass defense isn't great, but they do have some weapons on offense. I think Joey, and everybody's gonna want to hammer Vanderbilt plus money. Give me Tennessee to cover the spread.
Yeah, I like it. I could see this. Plus, with it being a rival, you never know what could happen. It could be close or just one team pulls away. And it's going to be a harsh environment. People are going to be fired up there in Knoxville. I feel like this is going to be one of the most anticipated in-state rivalry games for that state of Tennessee in a while, just with how good Vandy is. So, moving on from that, I did want to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech. They are traveling to their in-state rival, Virginia. Right now, it's Virginia minus 8.5, over under 53.5. Just out of pure hope that Pitt wins against Miami, I'm going to rock out with the Virginia Tech Hokies. They've had an abysmal season. They're not going to get a bowl game. They have absolutely dominated this game. I think out of the last 10 years, I believe they've only lost once to Virginia. So I expect them to hopefully show up. I like the plus 8.5. And I do like the under 53.5. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to create problems for Chandler Morris, where we've seen he has 14 touchdowns, 7 picks, so he's liable for some interceptions. They're really going to have to slow down that running back Taylor. He's almost eclipsed 1,000 yards too. But again, I don't hate Virginia for the fans that are seeing this. I apologize. It's more out of my fandom for the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ride out with you here. I mean, Virginia Tech just really has nothing to lose, right? I just go out and play some football and end the season on a high note. And I'd throw some trick plays in there, and I'd put some guys where they're not used to lining up and lining them up, right? Because they have again nothing to lose. And Virginia, while good, while they've found ways to pull out games and they've been tight. I just don't know if Virginia's a 9-point favorite. With that being said, though, I could see them covering 9 just because I think they won't. But I'm still going to ride out with you, Mike, and take Virginia Tech to cover the 8.5 there. They're home, right?
Virginia's home.
Virginia's home. Oh, that changes. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me, guys, to the fans out there, let me flip the script on you because I definitely thought Virginia Tech was home. Gonna have to ride Virginia on that one, man. I still feel Virginia Tech has nothing to play for. You can go out and pretty much do whatever you want. You know what I mean? All the pressure's on the Cavaliers, so I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and I'm gonna take the Cavs minus 8.5. I'm sorry I switched it up on you there, Mike.
It's
Just taking
okay.
the home team and see. We'll see. We'll see. You know what? This is the game right here. We'll see. Are you about it? You know what I mean? Because you're one game away. Can you close? Can you
Right.
close? So yeah, absolutely. I'll
Absolutely.
take Virginia. I'll take Virginia on the 9.5, 8.5.
I, I like it. Quick question for you, Knox. Since 2004, how many wins has Virginia had against Virginia Tech?
Since '04,
Oh
I can't
04.
imagine. I can't imagine any more than 5.
They have one win.
Wow.
So hopefully this
Wow.
is for
Well, I mean,
Charlotte.
well, typically Virginia Tech is the football program, out of the two,
Mhm.
right? Virginia's more of a
Yeah.
basketball school. So Virginia kind of shocked everybody this year with playing as well as they have. So I could definitely see Virginia Tech winning, but like I said, I'm dropping the nuts.
I like it. Yes, and even just I'm sorry, Virginia fans, to do this. This is just kind of crazy. Since 1997, Virginia has beaten them 4 times. So it's been a very,
Wow.
very lopsided. Yeah, it's been a very, very lopsided in-state rivalry here. But you never know what could happen, Virginia. This is your year to prove it. Like Knox said, you win and you're in the ACC championship. You win that game, you go to the playoffs, and you represent the ACC. So we'll see what you could do over there. Last game that we could talk about here, I feel like it's like the biggest game, to be honest with you. Not the biggest game, but the in-state rivalry stuff. The Iron Bowl, Alabama traveling to Auburn. Right now it's Alabama minus 6.5, over under 46 and a half. Knock, go ahead and lead this one off if you want to, brother.
Yeah, 6.5 for me, bro, is entirely too low. I just don't know how that number got there. Really, really weird because it's like of course Alabama's gonna win by 7. Like, of course. Auburn is terrible. I mean, everything about them is just terrible. Um, I think they scored 38 points a couple of weeks ago. It was like their best offensive. I mean, it's just I don't know, bro. I can't. I have to take Alabama, right? I mean, you just have to. There's nothing about this team that is good. Nothing. And Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Alabama wins the Iron Bowl. They cover. They slaughter. They slaughter.
Slaughter. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I think with there's one thing. Let me take a look here. I just want to see something real quick. I do believe I think Ashton Daniels is starting this game for Auburn, even though Deuce Knight, former 5-star from last year, true freshman, he started against Mercer, had a pretty good game, but I think Ashton Daniels is going to be starting. I feel like that could create a little bit of some havoc. He's a dual threat. I feel like Alabama struggles a little bit more with those dual threat quarterbacks. But I'm with you on that. 6.5 is just, I feel like, a very low line. I understand it's an in state rivalry, but these two teams are just day and night from each other. So go ahead and give me Bama minus 6.5 as well, too. So there are some other games, but obviously, like we said, for Knock, he is crunched on time. So I don't want to hold him up too much. We want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the FCS ranks as well too. We won't spend too much time on this, but the playoffs for the FCS starts this week, so there's some decent games. My wife's alma mater, Central Connecticut State, goes on the road to number 9 seed Rhode Island. So that'll be interesting. But one team that I feel like I don't understand how they dropped so low. They got the 13th seed, so they didn't get a bye. They still play this week. Tennessee Tech, their only loss this year was to FBS Kentucky. So I don't understand that, and it sucks because
Yeah.
they kind of got a bad pool. They got to host North Dakota, and North Dakota is one of those teams that they're weird because they're very good and they're just in a weird spot. So I don't know. I hope Tennessee Tech can win that game. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that knock. I just feel like that was so disrespectful what the committee did to them.
Yeah, man. I also took a look at that, and I saw a little bit of that on Twitter here. Um, I'm just, you know, they just dominated their schedule. You know what I mean? And that was a pretty bad loss to Kentucky. You know what I mean? But like you said, this is Tennessee Tech going up against an FBS program. Whether Kentucky was good or not, they're still in the SEC. I don't know, man. I'm going to take Tennessee Tech to win this game without question, and shout out to our guy, Casey, the athletic director over there for Tennessee Tech. He came on our show earlier this season. The guy was incredible. He was a joy to listen to. So,
Mhm.
just out of that alone, they ranked our guys a little bit too low. And I'm not like on the money line and whatever spread they got, take them to cover that too.
Yeah, I like that. Another team that I did want to shout out to New Hampshire. They got to take. They're going on the road to South Dakota State. That's going to be tough. But I wanted to highlight our boy Caleb Burke. He's from our hometown of
Mm-hmm.
Johnstown, PA.
Mm-hmm.
He's a senior. He's had a huge role for this offense. I believe he's their leading receiver. 764 yards on the year, 3 touchdowns. So shout out to you, my boy. We're going to be rooting for you for sure. Hopefully, you guys can pull off the upset against number 14, South Dakota State. Whoever wins that game has a hard pull. They got to travel to Montana, who is coming off a loss to Montana State. So they're going to be hungry for that. So shout out to our boy Caleb Burke, man. Shout out for him putting on to Johnstown.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Another, I'm trying to look and see Youngstown State. They got the 15th seed. They're going to be
Sure.
hosting Yale. I believe this is the first time an Ivy League school is going to be in the playoffs for FB or FCS, excuse me, just because they were never allowed to. Now they got the green light for it. So we'll see how that goes. It's the battle of the Y logos with Yale and Youngstown State. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
just real quick, I don't really know. Oh, real quick. I don't know too much about Yale football, but same thing. We're gonna root for Youngstown State here. Shout out our boy Brock Eisenhuth. Mike and I both went to school with O-line
Yes,
Pride.
sir.
You
Yes,
guys, I
sir.
believe, what guard and tackle, right? Yeah.
He
So
was
we're
right
gonna
tackle.
rock
I
out
was
with
left
Youngstown
tackle.
State. Okay, gotcha. And you know what?
Yeah.
Shout out to a friend of ours from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, who went to Youngstown State, Bryce Gibson as well, another
Yes, sir.
former alma mater of ours and in our high school as well. So we're riding Youngstown State over Yale, baby.
Yes, sir. And
Or I
I'm
am.
sorry, and I don't mean to. I'm not disrespecting him or anything, but Terrell Jones' little brother. I forget what his first name is. He went to Johnstown. He also went to Youngstown State as well too. So I apologize on not having your first name
Right,
there,
right.
brother. You were a lot younger than me, but just know we were supporting you there. So moving.
Shamar.
No, not Shamar. Shamar went to Indiana and then
No,
Chattanooga.
okay.
Um, with a T.
Chattanooga.
I'm
Right.
sorry. I don't
Okay.
mean to. I don't mean to disrespect Jones, Mr.
We're
Jones.
old. We're old.
Yeah, I'm washed with that. And then we'll move down to Division Two. It's going to be interesting. Harding, the boys that we talked about with the 66 rushing touchdowns, they made light work out of Northwest Missouri State, beating them 38-16. I'm trying to pull up the stats here. So they had 31 first downs, 28 of them were rushing. They had 427 total rushing yards on the day. So they just continue to run the damn ball. They are going to have a decent matchup this week with Pittsburgh State. So Pittsburgh State is another team that is very good. So I'm looking forward to that one. Knock, do you have anything for that game at all?
I just want to know real quick, out of curiosity, who's home.
Harding, they're the 1 seed.
Yeah, it's hard, with the way that they play and the weather. Let me ask you this. Just because I don't know off the top of my head, Mike, where's Harding's location?
Arkansas, and Pittsburgh State is in Kansas, so they got to travel a decent ways.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, with Harding's offense, that triple option is so lethal. They just do it the right way. Um, I don't know, man. Pittsburgh State is a pretty good program. I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to lean with Harding. I mean, you put me on to them, and I'm just kind of fascinated by their offense, and there's nothing special about it. It just
Hmm.
works. It just doesn't make sense how it works so well. We're gonna see how disciplined Pittsburgh State is.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see that. Moving up to the Northeast region, if you want to call it, a lot of upsets last week. The only team that was seeded that won was Kutztown State. They made light work out of Bentley, 52-0. Assumption went on the road to IUP and upset them 23-20. Their defense played stellar in the second half. I was watching that one on my phone a little bit. Frostburg upset Johnson C. Smith. And then our boys at Cal U went on the road to Virginia Union and beat them 27-24. So it's going to be interesting. I do believe Kutztown and Assumption have already played this year, and I think Kutztown beat the shit out of them in week one this year. So I hope it's a repeat of that. I do like obviously the PSAC schools. I'm a PSAC guy. I'm going to be biased towards them. Yeah, they beat Assumption in September
Right.
week one this year, 51-14. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it's another. Hoping it's another one of that, and then I do hope, obviously, how you wins and we get a PSAC like regional final there. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, both of us being PSAC guys going to PSAC schools. I got to talk about IUP versus Assumption last week, man. IUP would have had an opportunity to replay Kutztown, who only beat them by three points just a few weeks back, and they just completely ruined their season. IUP was up by 10 at half versus Assumption, and then they finished the game with no points. I mean, they scored no points in the second half. It's you know Division 2 or not, there's just upsets that can happen, and IUP really screwed themselves out of a really, really great opportunity this year because I do think they had the ability to beat Kutztown as well. I thought that would have been a great matchup. I was excited for it. IUP really shit the bed. Shout out Assumption College.
Yeah, they locked it down. And what's crazy too, I was watching that game majority in the second half. IUP was like moving the ball, but then they would just stall out around midfield. So shout out to Assumption. Your defense held it down in the second half there. Shout out Ferris State. They are the kings of D2 right now. They beat the shit out of Northwood last week, 65-14. They take on the 4 seed in their region, Ashland. I just don't really see anybody stopping Ferris State right now. They're on a huge win streak. I want to say it's right now it's probably up to like 24 games, and the last team to beat them was Pittsburgh State, who we just talked about not too long ago. So that'll be interesting there. And then another team that's really good in that region, University of Indianapolis, I believe, UIndy beat Truman State 57-14. So UIndy they take on Minnesota State, who isn't any slouches themselves. They upset the number 2 team in that region 37-14. So Montana State, they're very good. They have some ball players. They got a guy in the league right now. Do you know who that guy is?
Oh, off the top of my head, no, but once you name them, I'm going to be upset. I
Adam
know this
Thielen.
too. I did not
Hear
know
me?
that. Wow.
Yeah, Adam
Yeah,
Thielen went to
you know what? I
Minnesota
thought I
State.
knew. I thought I knew. I did not know. Did not know he went to Montana State.
It's all good. It's all good. I feel like a lot of people probably don't, but they're pretty good. They're more of like a hockey school. Their hockey team is D1. They're usually pretty good as well too. I want to say that they might have been in the finals whenever the Frozen Four was here in Pittsburgh. I know that they were there for that, but and then also in the other region, we don't want to leave them out. Number 1 seed in their region, Albany State. They just skated past Valdoza. That was who I gave to upset them. They won 35-30. They take on Benedict. Who did you see? The final play of that Benedict game,
I didn't.
bro. They
I did
you
not.
if not if no one has seen it, go back and look at it. Benedict was down. Um, I think they were down 19-24 with like 4 seconds left on their own 20-25, and they threw a far side, basically just like a bubble almost to the left side of the field. Guy makes a dude miss, and you see another receiver at the other complete side, no one around him, just throwing his hands up. Shout out to the wide receiver, whoever it was, threw an absolute dart across the field. And boom, the dude catches it and takes off and scores on the last play of the game to upset Wingate at their place. So shout out to
Wow.
Benedict. That game was crazy. Make
Wow.
sure you go check that out. And then West Florida, the 2 seed, beat North Greenville. They take on the number 3 seed, Newberry. So that should be an interesting game there, 2 versus 3.
Yeah, super. I'll have to go check that out. I have a quick question for you before we start to wrap it up. Do you think a team like Harding has an opportunity if they were to face off versus Ferris State? Do you think like a team like Harding could potentially end that win streak and their dominance with their
I,
style of play?
I mean, I do, to be honest with you, just because I mean we see it a lot with some teams who struggle to play against, say, like service academies like Navy and Army. You don't see a triple option play or an offense a lot. So you really have to be just fundamentally sound and disciplined with who has the fullback, who has the quarterback, who has the pitch man, and also, hey, we know they run the ball majority of their plays, but they could do a play action and throw the ball. I seen it when I was tuning into their game against Northwest Missouri State. I think it was a second down or a third down, and Northwest Missouri State had a chance to stop them and potentially maybe I think it was tie the game or come close to it, and they hit them with a fake option, and the lefty quarterback chucked it downfield for 35, 40 yards, and they completed a first down and scored on that possession. So it will be interesting. Right now, it does look like they are on a crash course. As long as everything goes, they would play, I believe, in the game before the national championship to see who goes there. But I mean, Harding's defense is extremely, extremely good. They've only given up 86 points on the year. Total defense
Wow.
per game. Let me see here. Per game, they're giving up 240 total yards per game as their defense. So their defense is just as good as the offense. But Ferris State is a different breed as well too. I really, really hope these two teams play each other before the national championship.
Yeah,
Um,
likewise, likewise.
yeah, it'll be interesting. I would definitely tune into that. But Knock, before we jump off here, anything else, brother? I'm sorry we took up a little bit. This went a little bit longer than I expected, but anything else
Uh,
before we let you jump?
No, man, to the people out there, I just wanted to let you all know Happy Thanksgiving. I want you to enjoy it with your families and take that time. You don't know when you'll have it. And Mike, to you, same thing. You and your wife, I hope you guys enjoy it with your families and you grub out and you go crazy and you feel fat at the end of the day.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna be looking like an offensive lineman again by the end of the night with some beers and some good food. So happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, brother. I'll let you jump here. Everybody at home, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Be safe. Don't do anything dumb like we used to do whenever we were young. But enjoy it, have fun. Make sure you go subscribe on all of our platforms. Go subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. I already said Twitter, but we appreciate you as always for tuning in and happy holidays again. We love you guys.